Have you ever noticed something strange about your semen but thought it was just an unimportant detail? A change in color, texture, or even a small trace of blood. Many men notice these changes but ignore them, thinking that it will pass or that it's no big deal. And that's where the danger lies. The body is wise, he warns, he begs for help, but when we don't listen, the consequences can be irreversible. Imagine for a moment that you are facing the first sign of serious prostate cancer, and you have no idea about it. You continue your life as normal while, inside, your body is fighting its silent war. A hidden enemy is growing, acting silently, and you don't even suspect it. And the most frightening thing, this sign does not come with pain, fever, or malaise. It appears where most men are ashamed to look, and even more ashamed to talk, in the semen. Semen is like a mirror of prostate health. If something is wrong inside, it changes. And this change is visible. It's real, but only if you are willing to see it. The problem is that 95% of men are not. They prefer not to know. They prefer to close their eyes. But ignoring this type of alert can be costly, very expensive. Not just your quality of life, but your entire life. In this video, you'll discover exactly what to look for in semen, which signs should never be ignored, and why this could be the most important warning of your life. You will understand how this simple sign can be the difference between catching the disease early, when it is still curable, or discovering it too late, when the chances of effective treatment are already compromised. Let's speak openly, bluntly, with the seriousness that the topic demands. This video was made to open your eyes, to warn you before the worst happens. Because when it comes to men's health, especially prostate health, time is a luxury you can't afford to waste. Pay close attention to what you hear next, because what you'll discover here could literally save your life. Have you ever stopped to think that something seemingly small, like a change in semen, could be the only warning your body is trying to give you before a serious problem arises? Many men live for years ignoring these signs, not because of carelessness, but because they don't know that the danger is there, hidden in details that no one talks about. And that's exactly where the risk lies, in what goes unnoticed, in what is silent, but which is screaming for help inside you. The body doesn't scream for nothing. When he speaks quietly, it is for those who have the wisdom to listen before it is too late. Most men only realize that something is wrong when there is nothing more that can be done. When the problem progresses, symptoms become more intense, treatments more aggressive, and life more difficult. But the truth is that nature is generous. She always gives a warning before chaos. The question is, are you paying attention? Are you ready to face the truth head on, even if it is hidden in a detail that many are embarrassed to observe? Understanding what is happening to your body is a gesture of courage. It is an act of self-love. And in this video, you will have access to knowledge that few have, but that can completely change the course of your health. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to warn you, to be a voice that leads you to prevention, awareness, the choice to live better with more dignity and control over your body. Don't ignore the signs. Learning to interpret these silent warnings can be the difference between acting in time or being surprised by news that no man wants to receive. Don't wait for symptoms to become serious to seek help. Don't wait to feel pain to investigate. Your health is not a game of luck. It's a responsibility. It's something you can and should take care of while you still have time. This channel was created with one purpose: to prevent you from discovering prostate problems when it is too late. Sign up now, because here you will have access to vital information to protect your men's health. Have you ever stopped to observe what your body expels and what it might be trying to tell you? It may seem strange to think about, but semen, yes, semen, can reveal much more than you realize. It's not just any fluid. It's a reflection of your internal health, and especially your prostate. And there is a detail, a specific change that many men ignore, and that can be a real silent cry for help coming directly from your prostate. Imagine this. you notice something different in the appearance of your semen. It may be a slightly darker color, a thicker texture, or even the presence of reddish traces. And like most men, you think, it must be normal, it must pass. But what if I told you that this small sign, this detail that seems harmless, could be linked to a much more serious problem, a silent cancer that grows slowly but relentlessly? Prostate cancer is insidious. It doesn't arrive with a fuss. It arrives sneakily, camouflaging itself in small signs, in subtle symptoms. And when a man ignores these warnings, the time he wastes can be the same time that determines whether he will live in peace or face a painful battle. Changes in semen are one of these warnings, and that's exactly why you need to pay attention. These changes may be associated with inflammatory processes within the prostate, often caused by injuries, infections, or in more serious cases, growing tumors. One of the most ignored signs is the presence of blood in the semen, which may indicate a condition called hematospermia. Many think this is a momentary scare, but the truth is, when this happens more than once, it is no longer a passing warning. It's a clear sign that something is not right. And the problem is that these signs rarely come with pain. And when there is no pain, many men just let it go. They go on with their lives thinking that everything is under control, while inside them, the disease advances silently without being disturbed. The absence of pain does not mean the absence of danger. On the contrary, many of the most serious diseases settle in the body surreptitiously, disguised as normality. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is for men to talk about this? The discomfort in bringing up this subject causes many to suffer in silence. But it is precisely this silence that destroys lives. That takes away fathers from families, dedicated husbands, friends who still had a lot to live for. And all this because they didn't pay attention to a detail as simple as semen. It is not weakness to take care of yourself. Weakness is ignoring the signs and pretending that everything is fine, when deep down, your body is already giving you all the warnings. And that's why you're here, because you decided to listen. Because unlike most, you are willing to inform yourself and change this scenario. And that already puts you ahead of millions of men who continue to walk in the dark. If you're feeling like something isn't right, that your body is different, don't hesitate. Make an appointment with a urologist. Speak openly. Take this knowledge forward, because each day that passes can be crucial. Every decision can save not only your prostate, but your life. Now I want to hear from you. If this content made sense to you, comment below. I paid attention to the signs. I want to see who is really committed to taking care of their own health. Your participation is very important, because in addition to strengthening our content, it also helps other men feel more encouraged to take care of themselves too. Comment now. There is another sign that most men simply ignore, and it is directly linked to how your body responds during intimacy. Have you noticed any changes in semen volume? Any significant decrease that seems to have happened without explanation? Well, this change, which many consider irrelevant or even a natural process of aging, can hide a serious problem. Semen is not just a reproductive fluid. It is a sample of what is happening inside your body, especially in the prostate region. When semen production decreases drastically without being related to a vasectomy or a diagnosed hormonal change, this can be a red flag. The prostate, which plays a central role in semen production, may be silently suffering. Imagine the following scene. A 55-year-old man, apparently healthy, active, without pain, without discomfort when urinating. But during intimate intercourse, you notice that the volume of semen has decreased significantly. He thinks, it must be age, and move on with your life. Months later, discomfort appears, and finally, he seeks help. When the diagnosis comes, it is too late. The cancer advanced mercilessly, while he ignored one of the only signs his body was able to give. It's this kind of neglect, this false sense of security, that makes prostate cancer so deadly. It is not the size of the tumor that makes it lethal. It's the time he has to grow without being bothered. And when semen starts to change, whether in volume, texture, or even the frequency with which it is released, the body is screaming for help. But unfortunately, few are listening. Many men are embarrassed to talk about it. Shame on discussing this type of issue even with the doctor. But you need to understand that health is not taboo. Health is a priority. And when we talk about the prostate, any sign should be taken seriously. Reduced semen may indicate inflammation, obstruction of the ducts, or, in more serious cases, the presence of a tumor compressing the structures responsible for this production. And here comes an even more dangerous detail. This symptom often appears before urinary symptoms. In other words, while you still think everything is fine because you are urinating normally, the prostate may already be affected by an early-stage malignant process. And the only way to discover the truth is to pay attention and seek medical help. Prevention begins with awareness, for the courage to look at yourself, to listen to your body's signals, and to seek guidance without fear. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better, with quality, with autonomy, with tranquility. No man wants to be surprised by devastating news because he simply ignored one detail. If this content made you think, touched you in some way, or helped you see this topic more seriously, write in the comments, "I will pay attention to the signs." This will show that you are truly committed to your health and will encourage other men to do the same. Your attitude can change lives. Start commenting now. There is a sign that is usually ignored by almost all men, but it can indicate something much more serious than you imagine. We're not talking about pain or fever or something that knocks you down immediately. It's a subtle, sneaky sign that enters your life without making a fuss. A slight bleeding in the semen, that's right. Sometimes almost imperceptible, a small pinkish or brownish color mixed with the fluid, which often goes unnoticed, but that should raise a huge alert in your mind. This type of change, called hematospermia, can be caused by several reasons, and not all of them are serious. It could just be a small ruptured vessel, mild inflammation, or a simple infection. But when this symptom is repeated, when it appears continuously, silently, that is where the danger lies. This is where there may be a tumor growing silently in the prostate, pressing on structures, compromising channels, directly affecting what you only notice during the intimate moment. And the scariest thing about it all is that many men feel embarrassed to comment. They prefer to ignore. They pretend they didn't see it. They believe it will pass by itself. After all, they didn't feel any pain. They didn't have a fever. They didn't notice any discomfort when urinating. But the body is already talking. It's begging for attention. A simple bleed can be the first and only warning that something very wrong is brewing inside you. And if this warning is ignored, the cost down the road could be too high. Science has already shown that in more advanced cases of prostate cancer, this type of symptom may appear precisely because the tumor compromises internal blood vessels in the region. And as little as the blood may seem, it reveals something huge. The integrity of your prostate is being compromised, and the longer this lasts, the lower your chances of winning this battle with ease. Now, think with me. How many times have you really looked at this carefully? How many times have you even thought about looking more carefully? How many times have you preferred silence rather than seeking help? This type of attitude is what turns a treatable problem into an irreversible nightmare. There is no shame in seeing a urologist. There is no weakness in investigating. On the contrary, your life is at stake. And if you don't do it for yourself, who will? Starting today, you need to make a commitment to listen to your body. Pay attention to small signs. It is important to understand that health is not only measured by the absence of pain, but by the ability to identify warnings before it is too late. And blood in semen, no matter how small and isolated it may seem, should never be underestimated. If you have already experienced this, or if this content has opened your eyes in some way, write here in the comments. I will see a urologist if I notice any signs. This shows that you are taking your health seriously, and more importantly, it can help others who are going through the same situation but are still afraid to talk about it. Now I'm going to reveal another even more worrying symptom, which many men think has nothing to do with the prostate, but which can be one of the biggest warnings that something serious is developing inside your body. You've come this far because you care, because you understood deep down in your heart that ignoring your body's signals could be very costly. And today, in this video, you went beyond the obvious. You discovered truths that most men simply prefer to ignore. Have you realized that that small detail in the semen, which many consider insignificant, could be a silent cry from your prostate asking for help? This is no small feat. It's a giant step towards real care for your male health. Do you know what that means? That you are not like the majority. The majority silence, deny, avoid. But you chose to face it. You chose to know. And now, after everything that has been revealed, you have a powerful weapon in your hands, knowledge. And more than that, you have the opportunity to act, because it's no use just understanding. Action must be taken before regret knocks on the door. What we saw here today could be exactly what will get you out of a difficult situation down the road. It could be what will allow you to live longer with quality alongside those you love. There is no money in the world that can pay for the peace of mind of knowing you are doing what is right for your body. And what is right is simple. Observe the signs, respect your body, and never leave for tomorrow what can be taken care of today. How many men right now are living with this same sign and don't even imagine the risk they are running? How many will find out too late? You will not be one of them, because now you know. Now you are one step ahead. Now you have clarity. And if at any point you felt doubt, fear, or shame, understand. This is normal. It's human. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear. Make that appointment. It's taking the exams. It's looking at yourself with respect and saying, I care. I value myself. I want to live well. So if you notice any of the signs mentioned, or if you just want to be safe and at peace, look for a trusted urologist. Take your exams regularly. Don't wait for serious symptoms. Prostate cancer, when discovered early, has a high chance of being cured. But if left aside, it can become a much more difficult battle. You deserve to live healthily. You deserve to grow old with dignity. You deserve to take care of your masculinity in a conscious and responsible way. And it starts now, with this simple decision to no longer ignore the signals your body sends. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This shows that you really care about your health and want to avoid problems before it's too late. I want to invite you to leave a comment saying that you watched the full video so that I can get to know you and know who is really committed to taking care of their own men's health. Also, check now if you are already subscribed to the channel. If not yet, click the subscribe button. Also take the opportunity to leave your like, because this helps us reach more men who need this urgent information. And share this video with your friends, with your groups, with your family. You could be saving someone's life with just this simple gesture. Most men only realize that something is wrong with their prostate when it's too late. In the first pinned comment, I left a link to a playlist that can prevent this from happening to you. Watch now before it's too late.